Hi, I'm Paris, and I'm not much of a candle guy, but when I saw that our local supermarket chain here in Texas, it's called H-E-B, that they were coming out with a line of candles that duplicated some of their best-selling food items, had to give that a try.
Paris TX shows you only the best.
Now, I've had some health challenges the past couple years, so I don't actually eat the foods anymore that the candles smell like, and I actually have them right here, but I remember what they taste like and I remember what they smell like. So I'm going to try out these candles both to see the authenticity of how much they actually smell like the foods that are on the label. And I was curious if you're feeling kind of peckish and you light a candle in the room and let it burn for maybe 20 minutes. Does having this scent fill the room, fill your nose? Will that actually trick your mind into feeling like maybe you've had some of that so you're not so hungry? Or does it make you want to go out and eat some even more? The first candle I'm going to try out in their Flavor Favorites collection is their Bakery Blueberry Muffin. Let's let some smell escape here. Maybe you can smell it through the camera. So the candle is a ordinary color. It's the same as the other. They don't have a color that matches the scent. And to give it a quick whiff before lighting it, yeah, I taste the blueberries. I do, I taste them. And there's that rich kind of heavy bready feeling that goes along with it. So pretty good for blueberry muffins. Now I'm going to light this and give it a few minutes to fill the room with the scent and see what it smells like. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this over on the windowsill, I think, and let the smell sort of circulate around rather than overwhelm my nose with it. Well, it took about 10 minutes for this candle to really get going and for the smell to fill up the room, and it doesn't smell so easily identifiable as blueberry muffin anymore, maybe because it's a little bit fainter having gone around the room, but seems that burning it changes the scent a little bit too. So I'm going to, it smells like food, and it smells like sweet food, but I don't get that clear blueberry muffin smell right now. I'm going to put it back over here, give it another 10 minutes, and then see whether I'm feeling more or less hungry, because I'm a little bit hungry right now. Okay, it's been about 10 more minutes. I did leave the room briefly and come back, and outside the room, there's no smell like this food, and the instant I came in the door, the room definitely does smell like this now. But again, it's more of a vague, sweet bakery item smell rather than blueberry muffin. Now, as I mentioned, I was a little bit hungry, and I found when I first lit the candle and got the smell, I wanted to go eat something. But after it's been about 20 minutes, I've been breathing this smell in. Now I'm just sort of accustomed to it. So it's not triggering me to want to eat anymore, but I don't know that I really feel any less hungry. That could also be because this doesn't smell just like a blueberry muffin. Now it smells like burnt blueberry muffin. I'm going to open up the window here. Okay, let's get some air exchange. I'll open the one over there. We'll get the air blown out and we'll get on to the next candle. Okay, so now the only smell in the room is heat. It's August in Texas and I just had the windows open, but that did get all the candle smell out. Next one I'm going to try out is Texas Wildflower Honey. This one right here. And they have some very nice local honeys. Texas Wildflower Honey, and even this far from my face, I can smell it. Does smell like honey. Yeah, it has a nice syrupy kind of taste to it. Quite a bit different from the blueberry muffin, but I do kind of wonder once I get it burning if it sort of becomes more generic and ends up the two actually smelling a little bit similar. But let me get it lit and let's see. Let me get this on the windowsill and let the smell fill the room. So after 10 minutes, the Texas Wildflower Honey candle has filled the room with the smell, and this one has stayed really true to the smell. Unlike the blueberry muffin that got a little confused, this still really does smell like honey. But it still did take about 10 minutes for the smell to fill the room, so it's not an overpowering smell, but even burning, this has stayed very close to the original smell. I'm going to give it 10 more minutes, see how my hunger is doing. All right, another 10 minutes of breathing Texas Wildflower Honey scents, and what I can tell you about my hunger in terms of honey anyway is I think I've had enough. When I first lit the candle, I was thinking, some honey on some cinnamon raisin toast would be so good. And it would still be good, but with time, I feel like I've already had a couple spoonfuls of honey. It just feels like that from having breathed this for a while. So at least with the honey, I'm thinking this could actually work to reduce the craving to actually eat the honey just by breathing this for a while. I've aired out the room, got all that Texas wildflower honey scent out the window, and I'm now ready to try my favorite, what I'm sure will be my favorite, because it was certainly one of my favorite foods back when I was eating these foods, and that is butter tortilla. Now, I'm not sure where else they do this, but man, the H-E-B butter tortilla is so good. Not all the stores used to have it, and I would drive all the way across town just to get that. I don't know if they spray a little butter spray on the tortilla or whether it's baked in somehow. But when you throw them on the skillet to heat the tortillas up, that butter smell and oh, the fresh tortilla smell fills the house. So good when you're making some breakfast tacos. So now let's see how the candle's going to do. Definitely a Texas favorite, butter tortilla. Let's see if it'll capture the smell. Oh yeah, it's a little bit popcorny almost. You know that butter they put on popcorn? Yeah, it's close to that, which the actual butter tortillas, they don't really have. So there's a little something different here, but there's a lot of butter smell going on with this. Let me light it up. Whoa! Yeah. I don't imagine they really put butter in that. Do you? By the way, H-E-B makes these candles in two sizes. Well, the whole collection of candles. This is the smaller one, goes for $5. I think it's a 4 ounce. And then they make a much larger candle that goes for $11 or $12. I should have looked when I was at the store. I wasn't going to spend that much money on a candle, even a deliciously food-scented candle. But now I'm curious whether it has just one wick, and so it burns much longer because there's more candle material, or whether they did one of those where they put 3 wicks in it, so you really fill up the room with the smell more quickly. I'll link to their website down below where you can find out more about this line of candles. You can't order them for delivery outside of Texas though. You have to live near a store where you can either drive in and pick it up, or if you have delivery from H-E-B, they'll bring it to you. Let me put this over on the windowsill and give it some time to fill the room with its smell. After 10 minutes of the butter tortilla candle burning, this room smells like Sunday morning and making breakfast tacos. Really like it. The smell has stayed spot on, just like it was before I lit the candle. I'm almost wondering if, you know, the hot tortillas and the flame in the candle, they match each other, so the smell is staying true to the butter tortilla smell. Let me give it 10 more minutes and see whether I've developed a wild craving for some butter tortilla. And after another 10 minutes, that's enough butter. That's enough butter smell, that's enough butter taste. So I did not develop a wild craving for the butter tortillas. I would have loved to have had some the first few minutes I was smelling this, but I've had enough now. This is, I didn't think it was such a strong smell, but it's sort of, that butter smell just sort of feels like it's sticking to me. So a few minutes of this definitely gave me all the butter I needed so I didn't have to go out and grab some tortillas. And I would say the butter tortilla candle would also work for popcorn cravings, at least if you really like buttered popcorn. Man, everything, I've blown it out already and things are just still so buttery here in the room. I seem to remember reading a while back some scientific study where they had the subjects take these little vials of different, there's like a little paper strip in it soaked in some smell. So there was mint and there was a chocolate smell. There was probably a butter smell. When you felt a craving for a food, you would take the little vial, uncap it, smell it, I guess, to your heart's content, then cap it back up. And they found that that actually did reduce the food cravings for the people. So I can see where getting your fill of candle scent could be enough, so that that's all you need. You don't now need to go out and have a couple spoonfuls of honey or a couple of those butter tortillas. As for the blueberry muffins though, that candle, just because once I lit it and had it burning, the smell really didn't target in as being blueberry muffin. So it didn't make me want to go have blueberry muffins, but I think if I wanted one after smelling that candle, I still would have wanted to go out and get some. If you're looking for a no-calorie way to satisfy food cravings, I'd suggest giving that a try, whether it's a candle, whether it's, if they sell scented little vials. I know they have essential oils sometimes mixed with food scents, food spices. Take a little, put it on your wrist, smell it. It's a 0-calorie way of feeling like you've had the food. In a related way, I have some foods that I eat, some healthful foods, but they really have a taste that can cover a number of different cravings that I might have from my years of eating all kinds of processed foods and junk foods. So when I'm really wanting that, I eat one of these foods, and they do a pretty good job of satisfying it. At least I haven't had to break down in quite a while and get that food that I was craving. So I'll do a future video telling you about those, and I'll see you on the next review.
There are so many choices and you don't want to stress. You want your health food at home, receiving only the best. That's what we're here for, we give honest reviews. Paris TX.